First date follow-up. Powered by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. Online at advocateslaw.com.
Jackson is on the phone today for a first date follow-up, and he's getting ghosted by a girl named Farrah. So in a few minutes, we're going to call her, see if she'll tell us why she's ghosting him, and maybe get him another date. But first, Jackson, how long has it been since you heard from Farrah?
Oh, man, it's been, I think a few weeks.
Have you reached out to her?
Yeah, I've been texting her, but...
Oh, you have been texting her?
I've been texting her. I just... this doesn't normally happen to me. So I'm just kind of like...
You don't get ghosted often?
Now, it's one of those things almost where it's like, you know, when you can't have something, you want it even more.
All right.
Okay. It usually happens for me, so I don't know why.
Did you want her when you thought you could have her? Like, how was the date?
I gotta say, guys, it was pretty damn perfect. Like, I don't really know what else could have gone better. You know, so we were doing the whole thing, you know, apps, texting, blah, blah, blah. And then finally it came time for a face-to-face, and she suggested this coffee shop, you know, the safe coffee date. We'll see how it goes. And it went really well. Had a ton in common. You know, we were talking sports. We were talking cars. I'm a pretty big fan of cars. So it went well. And then, you know, with that, it was kind of like, all right, coffee went well. Maybe let's roll this into a happy hour and then dinner, and just kept on going. Like, went to some really, really cool, like, swanky spots. And then the date was over. We had I'll say a very nice kiss. And
you had a nice kiss. What did she say after it? Was she like, oh, I can't wait to see you again?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, now I'm like hyper analyzing it. Like, okay, what exactly did she say? But she was like, I was like, yeah, we should like definitely do this again. And she was like, yeah. And I was kind of trying to pin her down. I was like, okay, like when, you know, hey, you free next like Friday? And she's like, yeah, I might be. Let me know. So, you know, it's like, I don't know. The whole thing was kind of weird, but I don't know. I thought it went really well.
Okay, so even when you asked for another date, she was like not totally sure?
She wasn't totally sure, but I thought based upon the vibes we were having, and again, like that kiss, like it was on point. Like I felt like that was a there will be a second date kiss.
Did anything weird happen on the date? Like awkward?
I've been poring over it. I mean, like you only say, so I like cars. I drive like this it's pretty sweet, this vintage Alfa Romeo, and she kept on getting frustrated because she had this really nice green dress on, and it kept on getting caught when she was getting the door, and, you know, going from place to place, coffee, going to happy hour, going to dinner, and it just kept on getting caught. Like, I kind of snapped at her because she kept on touching things too. So those are the only things that, like, I can really, not snapping, but, you know, she was, you know, picking at this thing on the dashboard, and I just got that thing refinished, and spent quite a bit of money on it. So I just was like, well, here you go, like, chill.
I mean, that could do it. It depends how you snapped, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like it could have definitely been a turning point.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Come on.
We'll play a song, come back, and then call her, see if she'll tell us why she's ghosting you, and maybe get you another date if you still want one, okay?
Heck yeah.
All right, we'll play a song, come back, and get your first date follow-up next. If you're just joining us for today's first date follow-up, Jackson is on the phone, and he's getting ghosted by Farrah. So we're about to call her, see if she'll tell us why she's ghosting him, and maybe get him another date. But before we do that, Jackson, why don't you remind everybody about your date with Farrah?
Yeah, we went to this really cute coffee shop. We were talking cars. We were talking sports. We were talking jobs. You know, she's super successful. I'm super successful. Like, it just, everything seemed to align. And then we went into a happy hour. Then we went into dinner. I was driving her in my car, and this nice vintage Alfa Romeo. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, we had a great kiss at the end of the night, but I did kind of snap at her because she kept on fiddling with my car, which I can't stand. But other than that, like, it was great. I thought for sure this was second. There's definitely going to be a second date.
I forgot to ask you this in the first part. Was that snap at her towards the end or earlier on in the date?
It was kind of towards the end.
Okay.
Towards the end. Okay. All right, here we go.
Hello?
Hi, may I speak to Farrah, please?
This is she.
Hey, Farrah, how are you? My name is Jubal. I'm calling from a radio show. It's called The Jubal Show.
Hi, Farrah. I'm Nina.
Hi, and I'm Victoria.
Hi.
Hi. Have you ever listened to the show before?
I have. What is this though?
We're calling because we got an email about you.
About me?
Yes.
Okay.
We do a segment on our show called the First Date Follow-Up. It's where if you go out on a date with somebody and then you end up ghosting them, they can email us to get you on the phone and ask why you're ghosting them. So we got an email about you from someone who you've been out with and now you're not talking to.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to say it like that.
Who do you think it is?
I think I remember. Was his name Jackson?
Yes, Farrah, it is Jackson. He told us about your date and he's curious why you're ghosting him.
I mean, so the date was fine, but after marinating on it and like how everything went, to be quite honest, like he's a little bit dumb. Yeah, all he talked about was his car, and which is fine. But then I thought maybe we could have more of an intellectual conversation, but that just didn't happen. And what really intrigued me about his dating profile and his dating app and whatnot was on his profile, he had pictures of himself with books and, you know, he looked like he was really well educated. And I thought, great, we can have a conversation about our favorite authors, what we're reading. And it was like he couldn't even name a book. And it seemed like he had never like even read before. You know, just like the way he pronounced some things on the menu, I was like, oh. And, you know, he's a nice kid. He does have a nice car, but I just feel like his quote unquote success is just things that he's purchased. Like he hasn't worked for it or earned. Like I have my own startup career. I'm working hard for it, you know, and it just sort of seems like things are handed to him. And there was definitely a disconnect on that aspect.
Did you feel that way the entire date? Because he did mention that you guys were in 3 different locations.
Yeah, so we started off at the coffee shop and then we decided, okay, it's going really well. We'll do happy hour dinner and everything. And I guess during the happy hour dinner is when I really started to think, okay, maybe this isn't going to work. Because coffee, I gave the benefit of the doubt. We're just meeting face to face for the first time. It should be, you know, we're both a little bit nervous. But then when he like got a little snippy with me in the car, I was like, ooh, that's a little jarring. So, I mean, it was, I don't think it's a thing.
Would you like to be sure?
What do you mean?
Well, what I mean by that is Jackson is on the phone listening and wants to talk to you.
Hey, Farrah.
Oh. Oh. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am dumbfounded by everything I just heard.
You heard everything?
Yeah, I was listening in.
I mean, I'm sorry that's harsh, but if you wanted to know the reason why I ghosted you, that's really the honest truth.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm a big boy. Yeah, I get paid the big bucks for a reason. Like, you can just tell me these things. You don't have to just, like, not text me back for 2 weeks.
I mean, I'm busy with my company and just hustling and everything.
Well,
Are you?
Yeah, I work very hard. Like, I showed you a picture of my house. Like, that doesn't pay for itself.
That was, are you sure that's not your parents' house?
No, I'm sure that's not my parents' house. Yeah, that's mine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the point. You base your success on your material things that like you could just purchase.
Yeah, well, I mean, how else do you measure it? I mean, I could put a hand on my house. Like, what? Like, what else do you even measure success by?
Yeah, I mean, it goes deeper than that.
Okay, so if they're not houses, like, I look at the zeros in my bank account, and I feel pretty darn good about that. So,
I mean, it goes deeper, Jackson, than material objects. Like, you don't just base success off of that.
Yeah, I travel though. Like, even my buddies were on this yacht in like the Mediterranean. It was amazing. Like, I genuinely, I do not know what you're talking about.
That's just it, Jackson. You just mentioned the yacht in the Mediterranean. You're not getting it.
All right, like, fine. I've been on a yacht in the Caribbean. I went snorkeling and scuba diving for like 3 weeks last month in Australia. Like, I don't know. What else do you want?
I think you need to take a yacht to the Bermuda Triangle and not come back.
Whoa. Well, now that you said that, Farrah, would you like another date with Jackson? We'll pay for it.
And you know what? I'm going to pass on that second date. However, I do have a friend that I feel like he would click with because they have the same type of delusions. So I feel like they would get along just great.
I'll take it. Send me to this date for her.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Successful first date follow-up.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can text each other and work that out.
Jubal's first date follow-up.